Hey guys, I'm going through a little bit of a rough time right now, and I wasn't planning to produce a video this week, but if there's one thing that I've learned this past year is that for me, the absolute best form of therapy when dealing with something traumatic is to talk about Critical Role. So I'm making this video on Friday before I leave town to go see my family um, as a form of therapy. So I'm making this just as much for me as I'm making it for you. Um, I A couple of weeks ago, I made an e-rant video about the Mighty Nine, which got an amazing response. Um, and I kept receiving all these questions about the characters, and most of which I answered on Twitter. And I did get a lot of questions about the Bell's Hells and Campaign 3, but most of which I did my best not to answer because the campaign is just over a third of the way through. Judging if using the length of Campaign 2 as an example, I assume is just over a third of the way through. Um, so I don't feel like we haven't gotten the full story yet. We haven't gotten full character development yet. I didn't feel comfortable giving full opinions on anything just yet for those reasons because it's not over yet. So I kept telling people let's wait until the campaign ends before we have a full conversations, give full opinions about. Um, but I can give first impressions, okay? And as per usual, the same disclaimers that I always give. These are my first impressions. My feelings about these characters and the story so far can change by the end of the campaign. So just keep that in mind. Um, Also, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you're not caught up with all 50 of the existing episodes of Campaign 3 of Critical Role, you might want to stop the video here. So, the number one question that I got on Twitter about the Bell's Hells was why did it take me so freaking long to get into Campaign 3? It took me all the way until the 28th episode, Death Wish Run, for me to get interested. Well, it's no disrespect to any of the cast or creators of Critical Role. Uh, as per usual, the story is great. The characters are great. No complaints there. I think the two primary reasons for me it taking me so long to become invested in Campaign 3 are that what I was going through at the time. I had spent 20 years of my life in Tallahassee, and I started watching Campaign 3 while I was officially moving from Tallahassee to my current home. Just starting completely fresh, starting anew. So it was a very stressful time. It was a very scary time. And I primarily kept Critical Role on during my last few days in Tallahassee for the same reason that I'm making this video, just as something to give me a reason to laugh, to give me a reason to smile. And that was it. And that was one of the main reasons why I wasn't as invested in the story. I was just needed to hear the cast of Critical Role being friends, having a good time together. That's what I needed from it, not necessarily an epic action adventure sword and sorcery story. Uh, and on top of that, uh, I have become very strongly attached by that point to Vox Machina and the Mighty Nine. Those two adventuring parties, those two campaigns set a really high bar. So having that in the back of my brain and comparing everything that the Bell's Hells were doing to the past two campaigns also stopped me from enjoying it as much as I would have if I would have just gone in completely fresh or had a long period of waiting between campaign 2 and campaign 3. I jumped straight from campaign 2 to campaign 3 without any kind of buffer in between, any period of separation. I just went right into it. So I have a strong feeling that if there had been a buffer, if I had waited, if I had given myself the opportunity to separate myself from Critical Role and allow myself to miss the show and miss the characters, miss the actors, and got into campaign 3 completely fresh, that I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But again, I think it was just bad timing on my behalf and just needing something very specific that had nothing to do with the actual story or characters. So why specifically episode 28? Why the Death Wish run and all that? So because I had been watching so much Critical Role, I pretty much binged campaign 2, which sounds crazy. It's 141 episodes, I believe, over 500 hours. I just binged it. Like, there were days where I would only watch Critical Role because I just needed it so badly at the time. So I got pretty jaded watching campaign 3. I started predicting things, and I just, everything became pretty routine. And the first thing that got my attention, the first thing that was, oh man, this is different, was the Death Wish run. The moment that Matt started dropping hints about there being this death race in the desert, Mad Max style, my ears perked up. I was like, really, a death race? Okay, let's do that. And sure enough, after building it up and building it up, they got to episode 28, and as far as I'm concerned, as a fan, it definitely met expectations. Oh my god, that was one of the coolest, funnest episodes of Critical Role. Again, it's like 3 to 4 episodes, hours long, 3 to 4 hours long, and I was hooked. I was at the edge of my seat the whole time. Just some of the coolest, funnest, most dynamic gameplay I've seen on the show. If they eventually make a Bell's Hells animated series, this is the section that I'm looking forward to seeing animated the most. And those of you critters out there that have made animatics of this section, of this very complicated and dynamic and elaborate section of the game, all the respect in the world. I love every single one of them. I love every animatic that all of you guys have made. Critical Role. So thank you for always doing that. So cool to see it visualized through somebody else's eyes. So cool. So once episode 28 happened, I was hooked and I was super invested in everything that they were doing. I will not be talking about, unlike my Mighty 9 video, I will not be talking about all of the individual characters just yet. Again, it's too early in my opinion. I feel like the characters are still taking shape. So whatever I say about the characters will be an incomplete opinion. So I want to see where they're going with this first before I share any thoughts on any of the main characters. I will say that I don't dislike any of them. I think they're all very, very good. The only characters that I haven't had a strong opinion about were the characters that were played by guest stars, or the characters that left a little too early. Wink, wink. And I think that's okay. I don't think we were meant to have such a strong attachment to the guest star characters this season. But I will highlight 2 of the main cast, just 2, very quickly. I want to highlight Fern because this is the first character that Ashley Johnson has played on Critical Role that has been a hit from the beginning. And I don't feel that it's just because she has been there from the beginning of the campaign. I feel like she just figured it out. She just created a character that is just naturally appealing to a mass audience. It took her 2 campaigns to do that, but she figured it out. And just to be clear, I love Pike and I love Yasha, but I've heard so many stories from people that whom were not fans of those characters when they first started watching those campaigns, which was largely due to Ashley being missing. But a lot of people say that it took them a while to warm up to those characters. I didn't experience campaign 1 like most people. I saw the cartoon first, so I loved Pike right away. With Yasha, yes, just like I said in my Mighty Nine video, it took me a while to warm up to her. I couldn't figure out the character, who she was, what her role was within the group dynamic. With Fern, that is clear right away. The moment that she tries to pickpocket somebody during that monorail ride, uh, you get it right away, like who she is, what kind of chaos she brings to the group. So proud of her. That's all I'm saying. I'm just really, really proud of her. The second character that I want to highlight is my favorite character of Campaign 3 from the very beginning, 50 episodes later. That hasn't changed. Still my favorite character, and I don't think that's going to change all the way through the campaign. Laudna. Oh my god, Laudna. All the respect in the world to Marisha Ray for creating this character. I often tell people that Laudna is a cross between the Crypt Keeper and Patsy Stone from Absolutely Fabulous. Just a character that really enjoys being creepy and macabre, but at the same time is so delightfully unaware of her surroundings. She can never read the room. Impossible for her to read the room. She's just creepy and macabre no matter what, and she loves it, and then doesn't quite understand why people are not taken or find the fact that she is as creepy as she is appealing. She's spooky fun. I want to give Marisha Ray the highest compliment that I can give a creator, which is this. I don't say this often, I envy the creation of Laudna to the marrow of my bones. It is one of the few characters that I've ever seen on anything that I look at and I go and I kick myself and go, I should have come up with that. That's in my wheelhouse. That's the type of character that I should have come up with. She beat me to it. She was the quickest draw. So all the respect, all the credit in the world to her for creating such an amazing character. Love Laudna to death, literally. And she is most definitely one of my all-time favorite Critical Role characters. In fact, only second to Caleb Widogast, my favorite character from Campaign 2, and my overall favorite character in all of Critical Role. So for those of you who are wondering, my top 3, Caleb, Laudna, Scanlan. Those are my top 3. Feel free to name your top 3 or top 10, whatever you want, in the comment section. Anyway, so a lot of people, a lot of my fans and Twitter followers, one Laudna was unceremoniously killed off, and the characters went on a mission to attempt to bring her back. A lot of people were concerned about me. It's like, oh no, your favorite character died. How do you feel? Are you okay? Unlike Molly's death, this hit me a little bit different. I felt that at this point in the campaign, I felt like something needed to happen to shake things up. I wanted something to force me to become 100% invested in Campaign 3 and the Bell's Hells, and I kept saying that every week. I'm enjoying it. The Death Wish run was fun. Things are building up nicely with, the Ruidus and the Solstice coming up and all that stuff. I'm liking this, but I want something to bully me, to force me into giving this campaign my full attention, my full investment. I asked for it and I got it, and we got what I feel is the equivalent of the Chroma Conclave attack to this campaign, which was the Bell's Hell's encounter with Odahan Thul. Boy, did that get people's attention. And while a lot of people were traumatized, and it was a very sad and dramatic and hard-hitting moment, I loved it. I respected it. I felt like Travis when they finished the episode after the Chroma Conclave first attack. The moment that Matt said, and that's going to end our game for today, Travis turned to Matt and said, Matt, that was awesome. Yes, it was traumatic. Yes, it was horrific what the Bell's Hells went through with Odahan Thul. But oh my god, when that ended and ended in that magnificent cliffhanger, I instantly said to the air, as soon as the episode ended, it's like, Matthew Mercer, that was freaking amazing. I even went on Twitter and let him know that was amazing. Because the characters were getting too cocky at that point. They had officially gotten comfortable as a adventuring party. They were officially getting good in their roles. And Matt did what Matt does best. He pulled the carpet out from under their feet. And here comes an enemy that's way more powerful, completely out of their depths. They don't understand, and they got their asses kicked. And a lot of people were like, oh no, what's going to happen to Laudna? What's going to happen to Laudna? And my feeling the whole time was, it ain't over until it's over. This is Dungeons and Dragons. Anything can happen. And Matt just kept hinting that something big was coming. Something big was coming. And oh my god, two of the best episodes of the show, 36 and 37, A Desperate Call and From the Bows. Holy crap. So not only did we get all these amazing cameos from Vox freaking Machina, not only do we get to see, I think 30 or 40-year-old, 40 years later, Keyleth and Percy and Vex and Trinket and Pike, but they go on this amazing adventure, the afterlife, to rescue Laudna and face off against her patron, who is Delilah Briarwood, and have another epic fight. We get another epic Critical Role fight with Delilah Briarwood in front of the Sun Tree. Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Those two are among my favorite episodes of the campaign thus far. What an amazing build-up. What amazing execution. Another question that I got a lot was that I didn't talk about the NPCs and what were my favorite NPCs. So very quickly, Campaign 1, Victor. I don't think I have to explain that. Campaign 2, Pumat Sol. Come on. Like that, I don't think it's physically possible to hate Pumat Sol. And about in Campaign 3, Captain Xandus. That I love anytime Matt plays Captain Xandus, even if he's like the wacky neighbor in a sitcom. He comes in, does something funny, and then goes away. It's wonderful. I love that dynamic that he has with the group. So good. I hope Xandus doesn't go away anytime soon. He is the NPC that I would either buy an action figure of or get a t-shirt of. That's how much I enjoy Xandus, and I think he might just be my favorite NPC of all of Critical Role. So more questions that I got. A lot of people asked me how I felt about, about all the haters and anybody who says negative things about Critical Role. My advice is the same advice that I always give guys. No matter what you do in life, no matter how good of an intention you have in your actions, there's always going to be somebody who hates you. In my mind, disliking or criticizing Critical Role makes no sense in my brain. No sense at all. To me, it's the equivalent of complaining about freshly baked chocolate chips cookies. It's like, what is there to complain about unless you're allergic to chocolate? Even if you're allergic to chocolate, you can still enjoy the amazing aroma that now inhabits the space in which these cookies were baked. Like literally just being adjacent to Critical Role, it's a good source of happiness. You can, even when I didn't watch Critical Role, I would enjoy it vicariously through other people loving it and enjoying it and it making them happy. All right. I was a little envious that I didn't understand how they enjoyed it and what was the appeal of the show, but I would see how what they got out of the show and vicariously enjoy it through them. To me, like people making fun of it or complaining about it or trying to insult it is the equivalent of a toxic waste dump trying to insult a sunset. So there you go. Uh, if you want to hate and be miserable, feel free. Be hateful, be miserable. Meanwhile, the rest of us are going to be happy and enjoy this, and let us make us happy and use it in the same way that I'm using it right now to give myself a reason to smile and a reason to laugh when I have none. Anyway, so what are my hopes for the future of this campaign, for the next 70 plus episodes of the campaign? Again, judging if it has the same approximate length as campaign 2. My great ideas and hopes, as far as what has been established already, the one thing that I hope it gets revisited, and I hope there's more to it, is Sir Bertram Bell. I feel like the character was kind of a bit of a punchline, and I didn't 100% feel like it was justified that the group named himself after this buffoon. Uh, it was a cool vehicle character, a cool character to use to get the group together, served his function, he went away, but at the same time, felt like a little bit of a footnote. So I'm hoping that as the campaign progresses, before we get to the end, that it turns out that there's more to Sir Bertram Bell that we have learned already. Very much in the same way how there ended up being so much more to Molly Mock than we had learned. How Lucian and then Kingsley ended up being major components of the campaign. I want something along those lines. I don't necessarily want Sir Bertram to become the big bad of the entire campaign, but just I really hope that there's something more. If there isn't, I respect it. Sometimes there are things in life that are completely random, but this isn't life. This is a story. And I'm a firm believer that when I'm writing a story, you should use every part of the buffalo. Like the Native Americans, they were very respectful when they killed a buffalo, so they would use every part of the animal. And this being a story, I feel like Sir Bertram Bell was used as too big of a component to set the story in motion and then abandoned a little too quickly. So I feel like there's still some use there that we can go back to, and I hope they do go back to it. I hope Matt has one of his amazing, like, long-term, multi-year plans to go full circle and come back to Sir Bertram and explain that there was more, that him being there and putting the group together and the group naming themselves after him wasn't just mere coincidence. Do I hope that they're eventually do an animated series to Bell's Hell? Sure. So far, they have delivered 2 amazing seasons of The Legend of Vox Machina. I have the utmost confidence in them producing Mighty Nine cartoon. I have no reason to think why that's going to be bad. They know what they're doing. They have the experience. They have the talent. So I am sure that even though I wasn't as excited for the Bell's House for the first 28 episodes, that a cartoon will be just as good, if not better, than the cartoon that they're producing right now. And that it might even help me enjoy the campaign even more than I enjoy it now. And if they produce that cartoon, hell yeah, I'll go back and rewatch the campaign episodes, and I'll probably appreciate them a hell of a lot more during that time. Thank you for listening to my first impressions of the Bell Cells. Feel free to voice your opinion in the comments section below. As per usual, please be civil. We're all critters here, and if you're not a critter and you decide to join in, if you're part of the conversation, guess what? You're a critter too. So just be respectful to one another and be kind, and just keep in mind that we're all on the same team. A few quick announcements before I sign off for the week. First things first, I have a lot of bonus videos waiting for you to watch on my Patreon page. I did one where, an unscripted extemporaneous video where I talked about the MCU holiday specials, the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, as well as Werewolf by Night. I also did one where I revealed the content of the Justice League of America script that I wrote when I was 12 years old. So I revealed that embarrassing bit of writing for your enjoyment. If those videos sound interesting to you, if you want to check them out and support me at the same time, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/erod and pledge $1. That's it, $1. You're helping me to continue to produce the Blockbuster Buster and other content on YouTube, and in return you get bonus videos. You can't beat that deal with a wooden stick. Yes, there are scripted videos coming. They just take a little bit longer to produce. I was working on one this week, but because of unforeseen circumstances, I cannot finish it on time. But hopefully I will deliver it, not this week, but next week, hopefully by March 15th. I will start delivering at least 2 more unscripted videos. The first one being my long-awaited Legends of Fandom video on George Miller's Justice League Mortal, and another video that some of you have been waiting for 10 years, which is my honest review of Kim Possible. Those are coming, guys. I'm working on them. Unfortunately, unforeseen things keep getting in the way, okay? And nobody can be blamed for that. So, as per usual, guys, thank you so much for your ongoing support. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and thank you for always taking care of me through your support and your patronage, because the fact of the matter is I could never do what I do without you.